Well, Kid, thanks so much for speaking to us today. Tell
Yeah,
me, what does it feel like to be a world champion?
it doesn't feel no different. You're just more focused. You're more disciplined. The thing is now you're here at this level. Everybody wants this spot. So now you're kind of like, you've got to be on it even more because everyone else is going down for you, aren't they? So I don't know. Nothing's really changed for me because I've not really been nowhere. I've not really done nothing. I've just done the same what I always do.
That's quite interesting, really, because it's something that you'd longed for your entire life. So I just wonder how it felt when you were able to achieve one of those lifetime ambitions.
No, I don't know. It's because the thing is, I've got here and I don't want to be one of these fighters who just get to be a world champion, then defend it a couple of times, then get beat. You want to be here and you want to stay for a long time. And that's what I'm focused on now. The only thing that's changed is, yeah, I've won the world title. Now I'm focused on, I've got to stay here. By any means necessary, I've got to be on it more. I've got to be disciplined more. Everything that I do before that got me here, I've got to be even more on it.
And I think I'm right in saying you pretty much went straight back into the gym the morning after the night before back in August.
Yeah, 100%. Because, the thing is, that fight happened. It don't matter. Let's move on to the next now. I knew that I'd be fighting sometime around November, December. So, I started preparing for this fight from then.
When you look back on that fight against Jazza Dickens,
Yeah,
it really felt like a statement performance. What did you make of what you did in the ring, and what sort of statement do you feel like you made?
I thought it was a good fight. But the thing is, Jazza comes to fight. So regardless of who he fights, it's always going to be an exciting fight because he always comes to fight. So, it don't matter who it is, you're going to be in for a tough fight because he lives the life. He's on it. And I knew that. I've known Jazza for a long time. And, I don't think anyone's beaten convincingly like how I beat him. And I knew I had to do that. But, we'll see, that's happened now. We've got to focus on the future now. And it doesn't really matter. I don't sit back and think, oh, what did I do well in this fight or that fight? I'm just focused. All right, yeah, did what I had to do in this one. Now let's move on to this next one. I've got to do a job on this kid. I'm always looking ahead. I'm not really looking what I've done yesterday. I'm thinking about now and tomorrow.
And in terms of doing that, in terms of looking towards the future, next weekend, you headline in Sheffield as a world champion. What does that mean for you?
It's been a long time coming. It's one of my goals as a kid to be fighting, defending my world title in front of my home crowd. The likes of Nassim Hamed, Johnny Nelson, Junior Witter, Kell Brook, Clinton Woods. The list goes on, and it's it's crazy, but at the same time, I'm just focused on what I have to do when I get in there. I just need to go in there and do a job on Kiko Martinez because it's going to be a tough night. It's going to be a hard fight. He comes to fight, and I've got to do a job on him. I can't, leave the ring and people thinking, oh, he's going to come to fight because he's had a few bad decisions in the past. So, he's kind of got the same mentality as me in terms of, he's going in there and putting everything on the line. If he's got to die to win, then that's what he's going to do.
You've spoken a lot about how important it is for you to carry on Brendan Ingle's legacy. Why is he such an important figure for you?
Because if it wasn't for Brendan, then I wouldn't be in this position. I wouldn't be in this position today. I got myself here to a certain degree, but for all these people that have helped me on the way, or guided me, or did things for me, then I would have never been in this position. If my mum had never took me to the gym when I was, 12 years old, I wouldn't be in this position. If I've never spoke to Nassim Hamed at the local mosque, I wouldn't have been in this position. If I didn't, if If I never met Brendan, I wouldn't be in this position. If I didn't meet Dominic, I wouldn't have been in this position. If I didn't have seen all the things I had seen when I was a kid, being in the gym around all these champions, you know, the fighters who, you know, were champions, and, you know, they took the eye off the ball and made a certain mistake, and I went, oh, I don't want to be making that same mistake. I try to always learn off other people's mistakes and not make my own kind of mistakes. And, you know, if it weren't for Eddie giving me the opportunity after my ban, then I wouldn't be in this position, you know, where other people didn't really want to give me no help or anything like that. Eddie always did. Other people give me opportunity. And if it weren't for all these people, then I wouldn't be in this position.
And just in terms of Brendan in particular, do you hear and see Brendan in a lot of what you see in Dom? Yeah,
100%. You know, the thing is, if I'm in the gym and I'm training and I'm shadowboxing or something, and if I do a little certain thing, I always remember little things that Brendan told me, you know, just certain things that he said to me, you know, and he kind of installed things in you. And it's just mad because the things he's installed in me were just like, I don't really see all the trainers doing the same kind of things. And I just sometimes think I was so lucky. I had a guy, as someone like him, who showed me the foundations of boxing properly. Because now when I see some of these other trainers come on through, I just sometimes sit back and I just think, I feel sorry for the kids because they haven't really got a clue. They think like their trainer's doing well for them or getting them to a certain degree or, you know, teaching them certain things, and really it's a load of nonsense. And I would just look at, I was taught by Brendan the proper foundations and just the whole experience as a kid being in the Ingle gym and laying off these other fighters. You know, I was taught the old school way, you know, because everyone in the gym was taught from the old school. These other fighters now, it's not really like that no more. And I just feel like I'm the last of the dying breed.
Looking into this fight against Kiko Martinez, it's a voluntary defence. What are your thoughts in taking him on? Because he's got a great resume, he's active, and he never shirks a challenge, does he?
No, and the thing is, he can punch, he's tough, he comes to fight, and it's going to be a tough night, you know. I don't think anyone's been in a fight with him and had an easy fight with him. It's always been a very tough fight. I can't recall a fight that he's been in and someone's absolutely battered him. I don't think, or beat him, you know, like it's always been a very close fight. Or, you know, he's had some very bad decisions in the past, a couple of bad decisions. And, you know, he just comes to fight. And that's what I want. I want someone who lives the life, who comes to fight. He's going to bring his best. And I know I've got to be in my best to beat him. Because if not, you know, it's going to be a very hard night and he could beat you. So I have to raise my A game because he's bringing the best of him.
And what do you think a convincing win next Saturday does in terms of setting yourself up for what you hope to be an absolutely huge 2022?
Listen, it's just about going there and doing a job on Kiko. You know, I don't really know what's going to lie after this fight. I don't really know. You know, I'm just focused. I leave that to Eddie, and that's his job, is to promote me and get me these big fights and everything else. But my focus is to do the job in the ring. The job is to beat Kiko Martinez on the 13th of November.
A lot of people ask you about Josh Warrington. When you look ahead to what may be possible in your career, do you think that your paths will ever cross in the ring when you look at the pathway that you're both on now?
Yeah, it could do. It could do at some point. I just don't really know. You know, it could do. But I'm just focused on my own kind of career at the minute. I'm not really. If that happens, great, it happens. But, you know, I'm not bending backwards or, you know, doing this or doing that. I'm the champion. He's not a champion. So, you know, there's other bigger fights out there for me as well. You know, obviously unifications, everything else. So I'm just focused on doing a job on Kiko, and we'll see where we go from there. I'm not really looking past that point, if you know what I mean.
And I know you're not looking past Kiko. You didn't look past Jazza Dickens either when I spoke to you before that fight. You mentioned their unifications. I mean, what is on your bucket list? Would you love to fight in the States? What would you love to do before you retire? Which I think when you look at the shape of you, it is a long time away now.
Yeah, the thing is, you know what? I just see it as like, I just go with the stride kind of thing. Of course I want these big fights and people want to fight in these big events and everything else. But the thing is, it doesn't happen like that. I don't know when it's going to happen. I know one day it's going to happen, but all I've got to do is make sure I keep on winning and keep on, showing that I'm world class. Because look at fighters like Joe Kawasaki and Nassim Hamed. They didn't have unification fights until 5 or 6 years down the line, especially Joe Kawasaki didn't. So I'm not expecting, oh yeah, I'm going to win the IBF, then I'm going to go on to win this WBO, then I'm going to go on to win this. I don't really look at it as that. It's not, the featherweight division isn't like the light welterweight division or these other divisions where there isn't really nobody in them. There's big names in the featherweight division. There's certain weight categories like the featherweight, the welterweight, middleweight, and heavyweight. Has anybody gone into some divisions and unified straight away, fight after fight? No one's ever done that, because they're the main weight categories which are hard to kind of like. There's that many good fighters in them weight categories. You can't do that. You might be able to do that in the light welterweight division. You might be able to do that at the cruiserweight division. You might be able to do that, at lightweight. But in these other division weights, you can't do that. Look at, for instance, Errol Spencer. He was IBF champion. How many fights did he have to defend the IBF before he went on to win the WBC? And that's what it is. The thing is, you got to just keep on winning and show that you stay at this level. If them fights happen, they happen.
Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you about somebody else who trains in Sheffield or did train in Sheffield, and that's Anthony Joshua. And he's got his own decision he's making at the moment in terms of a trainer, in terms of potentially bringing a new voice in. What do you make of all that?
I don't, because the thing is, I'm not really around his team, so I don't really know too much. But the thing is, the more voices you have doesn't necessarily mean it's better, because the more voices you have, that means there's going to be one person's going to tell you this, one person's going to tell you that, one person's going to. There's too many different opinions. Really, there should be just one voice, and he should have trust in one person to think, all right, what he says, he must, he's on job, he knows what he's doing here, But realistically, as a fighter, I know what I'm doing to a certain degree when I get in the ring. I can look at a fight and know what I'm doing. If Joshua, which I know he does, he lives the life and does everything else, he should really know what he's doing. He's Olympic gold medalist and he's had unification after unification, everything else. So to a certain degree, he should know what he's doing. So I don't really understand why he needs all these other people telling him more than, boxing's not rocket science. It's very simple, to jab a right hand and left hook, uppercut. Do you know what I mean? It's not really kind of like, you've got to do this, and when he does that, you do this, and it don't work like that. And I think all he's doing is overcomplicating the whole situation with himself.
And just finally on that, in terms of Joshua inside the ring, what do you think he needs to do to win back his belts and win that rematch against Oleksandr?
I just think he's got to be focused. I think he's got to have this mentality where when he's having a training camp, it's like a prison. Because, I lived a life all year round, and then say 8 weeks before my fight, I go into like a prison mode where like, I don't go nowhere, I don't do nothing, I don't do nothing at all, I don't really go here, there. It's literally gym, home. It's literally like being in prison. And I think he needs to implement that in his training. And when he gets in there, I don't know, I don't really know what went wrong on the night, because I spoke to him a couple of weeks before and he seemed switched on. So I don't really know. I don't know if it's, if he had to put more pressure on Usyk instead of sitting back and trying to outbox a boxer. He doesn't need to try and outbox Usyk, because Usyk's a fantastic boxer. He needs to go in there and stick it on Usyk in an educated way. Obviously, we're not saying go in there guns blazing and get yourself beat. We're saying go in there, educated pressure, and put pressure on this guy, lose your size advantage on him. Just like Tyson Fury did against get into Wilder and walk him down in a clever way and beat him up. And I think him sitting back and really letting Usyk use his advantage as a good boxer, he kind of played in his hands.